A risk assessment is a document in which you will describe how you will deal with potential hazards at your event. So you basically describe if a hazard does happen, what is actually the plan, how you will deal with it. That's basically a risk assessment. So just to give you a couple of examples, let's say you're in a greenfield site, a festival, and it's in the summer, and all of a sudden a huge thunderstorm is coming towards your event site. What will you do? How will you deal with that? It might not happen, but it might happen. So you need to think of the safety of your crowd. What is the plan? Or you have a conference in a building, and or a fire breaks out and you need to evacuate the entire site. How will you convey the message to your conference attendees that they need to evacuate the building? Is there a message? And what happens if that fire really, becomes a huge threat? What is the plan? Or you're at a family fair where there are several food stands, but after a while there are several visitors that have that come to the first aid with stomach pains, and it turns out that there is food poisoning. How will you deal with that? Is there a plan? Will you shut everything down, or do you tell people not to eat anything, or how can you contain what is happening? So there are several scenarios already, but these are scenarios that you need to think about when you organize or when you plan your risk assessment. So a risk assessment is something that you, as an event planner, I think you need to be involved in it. You probably, I would advise you to actually create a risk assessment, but be aware that you cannot possibly do that on your own. You need expert advice from emergency services, such as the police and medical staff, for example, and you want to talk to your security company, the ones that have experience in running events and being at events and dealing with audiences. They can advise you what should be what you should put into a risk assessment, and how you can make sure that your risk assessment actually makes sense.